Hey y'all, wow, okay, it's super rainy outside, so I thought the lighting was gonna be weird, but I love it. I feel like you can really see what's going on, so that's great. Hope it stays. Today we're doing an old-fashioned trying new makeup video. A bunch of cool stuff has come my way. Let me tell you everything that we're going to be working with today. Now there are a handful of other videos like already coming down the pike. I have a new at Sephora video coming soon. That's gonna have the Groundwork palette, the new House Labs concealer, and some other stuff in it. That's not gonna be in this video. I have CL, like the, you know, new stuff from Nikki DeRost that I just got in the mail. That's really exciting. There's a lot of stuff coming up, but this is all exciting in its own right. So today we're gonna be using the new YouthForia foundation that I got in way too light of a shade, so we're gonna have to do some creative color correcting on that. I have two new shades of the Persona blushes. This is not my favorite formula, but I'm willing to entertain it because these shades look better than the other ones. I have new lippies from Cosmetics. These are their soft spoken lippies, and it's like an improvement, I think, on their old sort of like cushiony matte lip formula. And spoiler alert, they're really beautiful. And I also have some eyeliner pencils from Miss Lisa Eldridge, who wrote me a note, a handwritten note, when she sent these to me that said, "Kackie, from one artist to another, I hope you enjoy my Draymate Craymate pencils." And then I died. So what you're seeing right now is actually a hologram because Lisa Eldridge acknowledging me as an artist is like, life made, just life made. So the final thing that we will be using today that is new is this. The Kosas Undressed palette, $40. 8 shades. Is it your new neutrals palette of life? We'll find out today. All this and more. Let's go ahead and jump in. I did ask questions on my Instagram as well, so we will get into all of that, and it's gonna kind of spill over into the podcast because Tom and I were just like at a loss. We sort of were circling on ourselves a little bit. We were talking about this like new phenomenon of people asking their straight male counterparts, like, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? I'm coming to find out that men think about the Roman Empire a lot. That was what kind of got us off to the races on like, well, you know, should we be commenting on like what we think, like what are our you know, things that are circulating in our brain, blah, blah. We went down all these rabbit holes and then we were like, this isn't even interesting anymore. So we just were like, let's just do an AMA. So that is the shade. It's not the worst thing in the world, but this is the new YouthForia Date Night Skin Tint Serum Foundation. YouthForia really prides themselves on making makeup that has ingredients in it that you can quote unquote sleep in because they're just that good for your skin. It's not gonna break you out kind of thing. This is a pretty expensive foundation. Apparently that is a reflection on, you know, how hard they worked to get the ingredients to be right. I'm here for that. So this is the shade 110. It smells like lactic acid. I was like, what does that smell? Does this have lactic acid in it? Woo! We'll check. Yikes. Ah! If you don't know what lactic acid smells like, if you've ever gone anaerobic when you're working out and that smell happens where like you've run too hard or you've worked too hard, or you know what I mean, where you just like push yourself past your natural, it's, wow, that's an overwhelming kind of smell. It's like so specific. Why does it smell like lactic acid? I don't know, maybe there's lactic acid in it. We'll see. But I'll show you on like the lower portion of my face here. 110, while a fantastic undertone match, is going to give me a kind of mime-ish ghostly appearance. And so I do like the formula. I do. I'm not sure it's like wildly special, we'll see, but I do like the formula, and I think that it's sort of the differentiator is supposed to be the ingredients. So I'm going to use a good little squoze here of my Fenty body sauce in Pearl Swirl because that's going to deepen this up in a way that doesn't screw too much with the undertone. And it helps with the smell because the Fenty does have a nice scent to it. I don't use this all the time because, well, hopefully my foundations match my skin. I don't need to be correcting for it. But also, I don't think that this is like 100% my skin's favorite thing in the world. So, the Fenty, I mean. And so it will kind of break me out over time. But we're taking one for the team today. I think that's pretty good. No, I think that's pretty good. Yeah. I want to get some use out of it, and I also want to see how it wears, but obviously it's not a completely scientific wear test because, I'm sorry, the smell is really wild. I'm gonna like check the ingredients right now. Why? It's like It literally is like when you go anaerobic. Very nice to look at though. I'm like suffocating a little bit. I'm not trying to be dramatic. I just like can't concentrate. That's just absolutely beautiful. All right, let's look online and see what that smell might be, because if it's got actives in it or something, we need to know that. That's just important. Okay, y'all, I will put the ingredients on the screen, and I know that I've got some really intelligent folks out there in the comments who can do a quick scan and tell me what it is that's giving me that smell. Now I don't smell it. What is wrong with me? Am I having a stroke? That's not something I want to joke about. Am I okay? Well, this is a weird way to start the video. Now it doesn't smell like anything. Y'all, what's wrong with me? I don't want to start the video over, but that didn't make any blooming sense. Anyway, yeah, this looks really pretty. Let's just move on. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's gorgeous. It really is. And it feels secure. I'm gonna claim temporary insanity on that one, and we're just gonna move on. Let's put on some concealer. Oh, and the other thing that I really thought this video was gonna be good. I thought that this video was gonna be good, but the other thing that we're gonna be using today is this very exciting new lipstick that I got from HERMES, okay? The beautiful Prunoir one, the purple one. Oh, so I have those Cosmetics lippies, and we're definitely gonna be using the HERMES. I should just... Anyway, let's put on some Givenchy concealer because I feel like I'm losing my freaking mind today. And let's open up a question. Good God, could someone just like get me on task? That would be great. The prompt hasn't uploaded yet. It's just uploading. I am trying so hard to just be normal today. Why is it not working? Oh my gosh. We're technically in Mercury direct. I mean, we're in post shadow, but still, good grief. I recorded a bunch of short form last week, and I was like, huh, I thought I turned my microphone on. And so I turned it on, and I was like, good catch, Kackie. Turns out that when I thought I had turned my microphone on, I had actually turned the switch that's above it on the back of the microphone all the way up, which means I had like, I don't know, multiplied the gain by like 10. It was all completely unusable because I had blown the microphone out. It was like, you know, this static screaming instead of just like my, you know, normal screaming. So it's been like that with the technology lately. I also finally caved in and paid for storage on Google. I was like tired of Google being like, you're running out of storage, you idiot. I was like, fine, how much is it? They're like, it's 49 cents. All right, I can do 49 cents, good grief. Anyway, at least the makeup's gonna look cute, she said, hoping that the makeup looks cute. We're about to find out on this blush. So about the Persona blushes, I don't want to, you know, seem like someone who's always got a chip on their shoulder about a product. Like, I'm gonna give it another shot. Like, did Westman Atelier just come out with a new mascara today? Yep. Am I thinking about it? Yeah, because I hated their first mascara. You have to keep an open mind, you know? Is it a tubing mascara? No. Does it come in brown? Yes. Okay, that's 1 point for it. And it's $45 instead of $62, which is how much they charged for that first one. Like, get real, girl. So I think I probably will try it. And, you know, it's almost like because I hated the first one, I almost feel like I have to try it. You know what I mean? Like not even I owe them, like I owe myself the privilege of knowing kind of thing. Okay, well, you know what? All of my weird musings aside and my senses malfunctioning, this is beautiful so far, okay? Like YouthForia, I love it, I do. And so it's kind of if like the ingredients appeal to you, because is this the most uncommon finish and behavior for a foundation? No. But is it exactly how I like a foundation to perform? Yeah, you know, it's giving Chanel Healthy Glow. Or maybe even the #1 day Chanel, Red Camellia. Like, that's kind of what it's giving, and I'm into it. I am into it. It's super, super pretty. It's enough coverage that it doesn't make anything look kind of dull and gray through it, and it has an absolutely gorgeous finish. Okay, so let's go in with these new Persona sticks. Actually, one of them is a bronzer, technically. It's called Mojave, and so maybe that will supplant any bronzer that I would use today. The closest thing that I think that I've tried from them to a bronzer is Teddy, and Teddy is far too warm for me. It just doesn't work. So let's look at Mojave. That's pretty nice. Let me show y'all that against, you know, another cream bronzer that I like to wear. Okay, so we have Mojave, and then this is Bright Side, oddly enough, from Rare Beauty, and that's gonna be obviously a little bit like more muted, but it does look like it's kind of a little bit darker too. And then Power Boost was kind of my original shade there from Rare Beauty. It's gonna be a little bit oranger. I'm having faith for Mojave right now. And then I grabbed Mo from Thrive, which is like the fairest of them all kind of thing. It's almost a contour. It's so beautiful and like rosy beige. So it's not anywhere near that. Here we go with Mojave. I'm gonna use it on a brush because, again, this is not my 100% favorite formula. I feel like there's a little bit of a disagreement between like the smoothness of the formula, lack thereof, and the pigment load. And so I wanna be careful here. But maybe it will help alleviate any remaining kind of mime effect that I'm getting from the YouthForia. Ooh, pretty. It is, I mean, God, that's pretty, but it is a little stiff. I think it's better for oily skin. I'm not mad at it at all, you know, but it's like, I like the Thrive one because it's the same thing with the Rare Beauty actually. They're pretty silicone-y, and so even though they're not super dewy, they go on the skin really evenly, and I feel like you don't have to like buff them. This, I feel like it is just a touch stiff, so it does result in something that's a little bit more ideal for combo and oily skin because you're not ending up with something, or starting with something super slippy, but it does mean that it like requires just a little bit more friction to get it started, and I don't always love that, but we have finally got a color that works in this formula for me. That is so refreshing. Not too green, not too yellow, not too orange, not too saturated. Yeah, yeah. Mojave, okay. I'm into that. That's pretty. What do y'all think? I think that looks great. You know, if I can kind of fall into a flow because a color is easy to use, like that's a really good sign for me. That's just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Okay, we are 1 for 1 on those. And then we have Guava, which looks to be kind of like a, I don't know, it could either be a pinky coral or like a bubblegum pink. They have so many bubblegum pinks in this line though. I would hope that it's not. Okay, okay, okay. That has quite a bit of red in it. It might even be kind of rusty. Oh my word. That's pretty. I don't think it's gonna go with that Hermes lipstick at all, but like at this point, who cares? You know what I mean? Oh my God, that's pretty. Woo! Let's go. It's kind of, it reminds me a little bit of Virtue from Rare Beauty. That's a, you know, a limited edition / discontinued shade. It's like a coral that's been muted down a little bit with like some gray. It's like a muddy coral. It's great for fair skin. See how it kind of is like almost a you know, like a sunset orange because they've muddied it down a little bit. That is a dynamite persona. Like we're finally getting into some nuance that I can appreciate with these two. This is a giant leap forward as far as I'm concerned. I'm just really stimulated by those colors. And it's not to say that the other ones were bad. I just had trouble getting them to work. It was like Bubble was too pale. It kind of gave Puff from Glossier, you know, it was a little bit dusty looking. And then Teddy was too orange and the other ones were like too, you know, candy apple red or whatever. And this is really excellent. Also, for some reason, this feels a little slicker. Like when I touched it with my finger, it kind of melted a little more easily than I remember. So I don't think they reformulated it necessarily, but it's working. Whatever happened is working. Girl. Little contour moment because we did just go in pretty hard with all of that. So I will use my Oma contour here. Hey, do I have any questions? I still remember the days back when like I wish that I could do a Q&A and knowing fully that I couldn't because no one was there, you know? And it's just so cool now that it's like I can just post a prompt. Like I don't ever think that I'm just like cocky about that. I think it's so cool that there are just people. Just people who care. It's cool. Are you still enjoying your pool? I miss your Patreon vlogs of you outside living your best life. I have not lived my best life this summer, y'all. First of all, summer came really late here in the Northeast. And then I just got so busy. And I was also paying so much money to get my skin back in order. Like I had gone, since I moved basically from Texas, I had gone that entire time without getting an intense peel. I get the VI peel and it really does like peel my entire existence off. When I finally found a place here that did it and like, you know, bit the bullet and did the darn thing, boop, there we go. I was very protective of my skin after that because it made such a huge difference. And also I realized that like my skin was now extraordinarily vulnerable, and I just very much just like, it wasn't even necessarily a decision. I just like lost interest in going and sitting in the sun, even with a hat on or whatever, because I was just terrified of repigmenting my skin after all the hard work that I had done. So that's honestly, that's the main reason. And truth be told, I will say I don't enjoy having a pool. It's a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the ass. Mike does nothing but just like maintain that damn thing. Like it's just, for something, especially in the Northeast that's open 4 months out of the year, it's so expensive and it's so stressful and time consuming. I never thought a pool would be so annoying. What experiences and moments helped you detach from caring about others' perception of you? I think that that is I mean, first of all, it's a great question, thank you. But I think it's actually just like necessity. Like it was just a means of necessity. It wasn't like, oh, I need to become a better person and work on myself and I need to not think about other, I'm using my Kosas powder, by the way, underneath my eyes right now. It's more just like when you hit a point where like anxiety is taking over your body at various points in your life, you know, and I had that happen all the way through my youth and everything, still happens. You have to, at least I had to, like start to find a way to figure out what was causing it. You know what I mean? Like at least isolate like one thing that I can do something about, you know? And I'd be like, okay, well, you know, why do I feel all this pressure to be X, Y, and Z? And then you kind of have to unpack like, okay, well, why am I giving a person power over me to make me feel this way? Is this a person whose opinion I really care about? You know what I mean? And journaling helps so much because I can actually write the questions out. Be like, why do I feel this way? You know what I mean? Like actually answer myself. I'm a Gemini moon, like I need the verbalization. So I grew up in a family where I think that a lot of my family members who, you know, are not really in my life anymore used guilt trips as a means of kind of controlling their own environment. I think control of your environment is mostly an illusion anyway, but as a kid, you know, you're really vulnerable to that kind of thing. And a lot of people will take advantage of that. And so it's those kinds of experiences where you like grow past that and you're like, oh, like, we're all just people who got older. This person does not have like power over me because they're older than me or because they predate me or whatever. Like, sure, I can be grateful for the things that they gave me and things like that, but like that doesn't change the fact that this person doesn't deserve to have an opinion of me that affects me this deeply, X, Y, and Z. And so it was just a means of like coping to finally just like isolate those things and say, okay, what can I control? I can control who I let have a piece of me, essentially. And when you draw those boundaries, it can just like save you a lot of headache and effort. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but I think writing it out really helps. Like literally sitting down and writing down like, why do I feel this way? And just like, you know, just keep going. I think that we have arrived, and I think that we're in a really good place to do it, but I think that we have arrived at this. This is where we are right now. This is the Kosas Undressed palette in all of her glory. This is a $40 palette, 8 shades, 7 mattes, 1 shimmer. Let's swatch. Now, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I have and always probably will be an apologist for Kosas because we just go back for so long, and I think some of the products that they have are just like irreplaceable parts of my routine. So it's like I want to give them the benefit of the doubt on at least like the thought pattern going into this, because it is called the Undressed palette, and that's inspired by their Undressed collection, which is this beautiful set of kind of like desaturated nude versions of their lip oils, and they're gorgeous. I love them. So we have some cool tones here, some very unabashed cool tones. We get into kind of a few neutrals, some, you know, and then some good warm tones here. And then we have the one shimmer that is kind of like a copper color, right? I mean, what you see is what you get. So not much else to say other than the fact that like they are very consistent, very pretty, very silky kind of formulas. I will give them that. Like it's a very nice eyeshadow formula. But y'all know I'm a shallow little bitty. Yes, I am. And the immediate reaction, my visceral reaction to it, you know, when I saw it online and holding it in my hand, I'm just like, why'd they make it look like that? It's metal on the inside, I will give them that. Like this part is metal, so it is heavy, but why'd they make it look like that? I just think that there were so many other ways we could have gone and this is what we chose and I'm confused by it. And I think that the main thing is, you know, coming from a completely practical standpoint, it's not a matter of like taste or anything like that. It's a matter of like you being a person with $40 in your hand and where are you going to put it? Am I going to tell you to part with $40 for this because I think it's worth $40? I can't in good conscience say yes. Like even if the formula were to absolutely knock my socks off, I just can't tell you to part with two $20 bills for that, you know? There are plenty of really, really great palettes that look just like this at the drugstore. And it's not like this is, I mean, sure, I think it's talc free, but plenty of things are talc free. It's been a really long time, I think, since I've worked in a palette. I have been though, using, it kind of made me jog my memory. It made me start using this one a little bit more, but this is the Makeup by Mario Etherealized palette, but I won't dawdle there too long because you can't get this anymore. It was like the most flash in the pan thing. So, you know, that's the light color from Kosas, and then this is the light color from Makeup by Mario. I don't think that the formulas are very similar or anything. Like I wouldn't necessarily compare one to the other. Apples to apples, like this is definitely concentrating more into like a cool neutral area, and it has much more like beautiful etherealized, you know, wet look kind of shimmers that I think are great choices that they made in here. And that is kind of the one thing that strikes me as strange about this from just like the color decision standpoint is like, why is there only one shimmer? Why is there one shimmer at all? Why not two shimmers? Why not zero shimmers? You know what I mean? Like, and it's an odd choice for a shimmer. Like, yes, it's a pretty color, but it doesn't go with everything in this palette. Like when I put it on, I'm like, it's a little warm for my taste, you know? So we're gonna use them. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do an old-fashioned eye look here. I'm gonna start with a transition shade. We're gonna start with Peak right here. And it is quite cool toned. And you can see they have a nice amount of pigment to them. I like the size of the pan, I do. But while there's like a duty, I feel, to give this enough of a chance that like I actually have things to say other than my first impression of it kind of thing. Like that's why I've had it out sitting on my desk to keep testing it and trying it. You know, after that, is it going to leave me with some kind of indelible impression? Probably not. And I think that that's kind of the worst thing that you can be in makeup is forgettable. It's not even really an insult. It's just kind of like a natural thing that it's a very organic occurrence when something becomes forgettable, and this is forgettable. So gonna go into Peak underneath my eyes as well. I do like that they did cover the temperature spectrum pretty well. I still don't understand why they didn't just do 8 mattes, you know, or 2 shimmers or something. Like it's an odd choice for 1 shimmer. So then we'll go in with Glaze because it's quite warm. It's almost peach. And I think that that's gonna help with that shimmer going on because it's not going to stand in such stark contrast. So I'm gonna kind of go over the whole thing here. Not all of it, but like my lid. This is definitely a formula that washes. I mean, you can probably use it in more of a placement fashion, but for those of us who like to just take a brush and just, you know, check out while we buff kind of thing, it's great for that. Sorry, I'm adding a little bit more of that cool tone. It's not bad. And then I'm gonna take that small brush again and I'm going to work in Untie right here. Not the deepest, darkest, because it can get drama pretty fast with that dark color. But I do think that the colors that they chose are nice. You know what I mean? Like as far as like if you're gonna choose a dark brown, that's a pretty good dark brown to choose kind of thing. This is a good sort of burnt sienna color. Not burnt sienna, burnt umber color. Sienna's much warmer. Very blendable, you know. I think that the formula I'm not really complaining about. I would have liked to have been tantalized a little bit better with all of the other aspects of it, but the formula, I really can't complain. And then I'll take some of Strip, which is the Shimmer. And you can see, it's just not an intuitive color. Like it just goes, it's fine, but it's like not what I want to put with this palette. I want something more like the Etherealized palette where it's neutral. It's so warm. I feel like it's just kind of, it makes a decision about who this palette's for so much more so than the rest of the shades do. So much more so than the rest of the shades do. Like I would have loved to have seen something that's a lot more like Hindash Boy Tears, because that is such a versatile kind of shimmer that doesn't really make any hard and fast decisions for you in terms of how the temperature of your eye look is going to turn out. And like that to me is just like, okay, well, all of a sudden my sweater looks green because it's so copper. So that doesn't feel like a neutral basics palette to me anymore. That's a hard and fast decision. All right, just for the sake of pushing the boundaries here, I am gonna go with just a little bit of the deepest color here, Flaunt, just a little, just to show y'all, because I do think that it lends itself to many skin tones. You can really build a gradient all the way from dark to light, and they do continue to build on one another in a nice way. It's pretty. It is pretty. And then a little of the very light shade here. We used almost all of them. Whisper is the only one that, no, I didn't use Drape either. Whisper is very gray and Drape is so yellow. So that's why I steered clear of those today. But I'm using that white shade, which is called Hint. And it's more of like a cream, but just brightening and cleaning up a little bit. And it has enough color impact, you know, it's not just a disappearing act. It's an eyeshadow palette, y'all. I mean, it's a better formula than ColourPop, but like I remember BH Cosmetics really knocking my socks off back in the day, and it's kind of giving BH Cosmetics. Let's talk about these beautiful eye pencils here from Lisa Eldridge. We have 6 shades, so let's swatch them. Just as I had said burnt umber. Let's see if Lisa and I have the same opinion on what burnt umber is. Ooh, we do. The outsides of them are metal too. Can you hear them up against each other? Yeah, some choices were made here. This is like a really nice experience. All right, let me swatch them. She is not kidding. They are creamy dreamy. Oh boy. Not that I don't subscribe to the 2 cakes philosophy, but look out, Victoria Beckham. Wow. Well, gosh, look at these colors. Look at them. Oh my God. Have you ever seen anything so delicious when it comes to an eyeliner range? I want to use all of them. Like that's the perfect green, like finally a green. That is exactly what I've been looking for. Okay, so those shades are, this is Burnt Umber, this is Night Forest, Cinder Smoke is the gray one, this is Renaissance Gold, you can see it's the one that's shimmery, this is called Black Treacle, and this is Ground Coffee. So I kind of want to do Burnt Umber today. It's just like the word that I ended up pulling out of my butt a second ago talking about that palette, so it seems like that's what I should be doing. Especially because Ground Coffee is honestly like one of the best cool toned brown blacks I've ever seen. Like that's not where I'm at today, but I just want to point out the difference between those two. Like this is going to be a warm red brown, and then this is going to have that just like incredible actual eyelash color to it, where, you know, when you put it behind your eyelashes, behind your mascara, you're going to achieve something, especially if you're complected a little bit more like me and you don't have like, you know, black hair, black eyelashes, black eyebrows kind of thing, which in that case, use black. But like this is the kind of shade that's going to look the most natural on me because it's going to actually enhance my lash line. But I want to start with the Burnt Umber, and I'm going to leave those there and see how they do, because the Victoria Beckham ones, you know, if you leave them there, they'll just dry down completely, so we'll find out. Ooh, I'm so excited. I have the little baby BK 208 here for blending purposes. Yeah, I mean, if you like the Victoria Beckham satin eye cajoles, you'll love these. By the way, the 2 cakes philosophy that I just mentioned stems from this one little comic that I saw online one time where it was like the artist bringing their cake to the party, and their cake is handmade and they're proud of it, but then they set it down next to somebody else's cake that's way better. Just like, you know, much more professional and much bigger, and obviously the person has more experience and things like that. And the artist says, oh no, their cake is better. And then the viewer says, yeah, 2 cakes. We love options. It's not about either or. There's room for everybody. Look at that color. Look. Together, we have made the right selection. Lisa, look at that. It's like the exact color of my eyes. Love it. I have my photo shoot this week for the new Finding Ferdinand collection. I think these are coming with me because we don't have any, you know, eye products, so I just need it to be classy and gorgeous. Wow, wow, wow. Well, that was about as easy as it gets. Goodness. I mean, soft, so beautiful. Absolutely like silk. That's just a pleasure start to finish, Lisa. That's a good pencil. And it's also like right in my preference. I don't want drag on my pencil. I'd far rather be a little bit more careful because something is just so silky than to be sitting there, you know, raking it across my eye line over and over and over again. Yep, they move a little bit. They move a little bit, and it's possible that I haven't let them dry down entirely, but they do move just a little. Let's see about like water solubility. No, they're not water soluble, but they will disrupt if you wipe your finger across them, and it's possible I didn't let them dry long enough. Anything that creamy probably is gonna take a little longer to dry. Wow, burnt umber, I like you so much. The other thing that's great about a super silky soft pencil, I almost said cajal and pencil at the same time, like pajal, is that you can really get it into your lash line. That always drives me absolutely bananas when I'm like working really hard on my eyeliner, especially like a liquid line or something, and it just like won't get in between your lashes, and so you have just this like daylight shining through your eyelashes. You lose the entire illusion of a thicker lash line, so these don't do that. Okay, I'm gonna do my brows and my mascara, and we will be right back to discuss some lips. Easy. But let's take a question and then I want to talk about some lips here. What color blush does a mid olive tone person wear without looking like Shrek? Violet. Try something purple. Purple pink, purple blue. If you feel like you're working against green undertones, try something like Fenty Drama Class, which they did just bring back. About Face has a beautiful purple one. I might be releasing something kind of unabashedly cool toned coming up soon. So, you know, bear all these things in mind, but try purple. And the philosophy there is your skin has so much yellow. So instead of yellow, you're going to the other end of the color wheel, and the other end is purple. Speaking of purple, if you're olive toned, you need this. Just kidding. I never like to say that you need anything, and you certainly don't need an $80 lipstick, okay? No one needs an $80 lipstick. Can I say it again? No one needs an $80 lipstick. This they tried to swipe me dead. This is just incredibly special, okay? And it was something that y'all watched me have a, you know, a real-time conniption about in my last tepid takes, where I was like, wow, those look like Halloween. Wow, those are kind of cool. Wow, wait, they're bombs. And that was what changed my life about this. So this is the new Hermes, Rouge Hermes Prunoir. It's black on blue. These are designed by Pierre Hardy. I've owned some shoes from Pierre Hardy. Love Pierre Hardy. But anyway, yes, so you can see I've used this a little, and it's got the Hermes little embossing in there and everything. And it's just the prettiest thing in the whole world. Now I'm gonna put it on my face for you. Tom's like, you're bullying me. Stop bullying me. Please stop bullying me, Kackie, about the Prunoir. It smells pleasantly of berries. Like genuinely of berries. Like blueberry, raspberry kind of, but not like a snow cone, like genuinely of though. Oh my God. Here I was like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna go with that lip color because the cheek is coral or whatever, but like there's just something so complete about this color. It's not blue. It's not candy apple pink. It's just this beautifully complete kind of black prune color, right? Prunoir. I honestly think everybody could wear this color. Prove me wrong, and there are 3 shades in it, but like this color looks, I think it would look good on everybody. Oh. The formula is off the charts. It's so easy. There's nothing finicky about it. It's just super shiny and gorgeous and comfortable and nourishing, and it makes me feel so beautiful. Steph from Beauty Unhyped already messaged me yesterday and she was like, I already bought it. She's such a lipstick queen, and our Venn diagrams of what like works on our complexions, it just barely kisses like this. And the fact that like the cross section of it, if you were to zoom all the way in, it would be this. But like Nicolette needs it because she's olive complected and she's a skin twin with Ingrid. Ingrid also needs it. Tom needs it because Tom's my skin twin. But if Steph can wear it, and you know, Steph is Taiwanese, she's got a beautiful kind of golden complexion, like, show me someone this looks bad on, okay? Show me someone this looks bad on. It's so good. I do want to swatch it against Finding Ferdinand, their black lipstick, because it might be a dead ringer. Let me see. Like, this is obviously a fraction of the cost. And neither of these is like pH adjusting. They just happen to be the color that they are. Okay, it's quite a bit less pigmented, which is, you know, the beauty of Finding Ferdinand is that they get to decide, right? They can change those things absolutely on the fly. So there, right there is Prunoir. And then that is Agent Provocateur from Finding Ferdinand. Very, very similar. Like, you don't need to go spend $80 on a lipstick unless it's all of the upgrades that make the difference to you. You know, the extraordinarily luxurious formula, the absurdly over-the-top refillable packaging, you know, this gorgeous seal on the top with like the Hermes insignia in it and everything. Like, the whole thing only matters if it matters to you, and it is wildly expensive. And this is a you know, very, very good alternative. But do I feel beautiful? Yes, I do. Does the feeling of using that lipstick follow me for the rest of the day? Yes, it does. And I just think it's a color that I think it works on like 90% of humanity, so. All right, let's do a smash or pass on everything here because we covered a lot. So it feels like a long time ago when we started this video when I had a very strange reaction to this. I don't know why the smell was bothering. There's like no smell to it now. What is wrong with me? Are we still, the world may never know. But the YouthForia is beautiful. I want it in the right shade because I can just, you know, see glimmers of greatness here. I like how lightly it wears and how easily it powders. I like the amount of coverage. It is truly a foundation in the sense that it is perfecting on the skin. It's not just giving, you know, skin tint, and it feels pretty long wearing, and it does, like I said, tolerate so many other different makeup items going on top of it. So if this is something that you've been considering, I think that it does give the full experience. I think that YouthForia being a newer brand to me, you know, I didn't really know what to expect, but it's giving sophistication. Not so much the packaging giving sophistication. I do feel like they kind of went the Kosas route of being a little more Gen Z oriented, while this is a formula that is very much Gen Me oriented. But I think anybody can benefit from something that is supposed to have ingredients that you can sleep in, essentially. So it's very, very pretty. I like it a lot. By the way, I had to take a phone call for a second, and when I did, I sprayed myself with MAC Fix Plus Magic Radiance, so I'm not sweating. Persona, you know, I always say this, I'm always here for a redemption arc, and it's like I have given away my other blush shades in this formula to my friend Natalie because she loves them, and I just was like, I never found one that really stuck with me. Like, I never found one that was the color I wanted to wear. I always felt like I was kind of correcting for it. These are the ones that I want to wear. I kind of knew when I opened the box. I was like, oh, that's different. Those are different. That's something that looks much more like me than anything that I've seen from them yet. So Mojave and Guava are winner chicken dinner in my book, especially because like I really thought that it was all gonna pull a little bit too warm, especially to be using like this lipstick with it and stuff, and maybe kind of a more neutral eye. No, these are so skin native for me, and there's something so incredibly nuanced about the choices that they made with this shade that it does remind me a lot. In fact, I'll go ahead and swatch it against Virtue from Rare Beauty because that's what it reminds me of. And if it is a dead ringer for it, then I highly recommend it because you can't get Virtue anymore. And it's like my favorite shade. Virtue! You're just sitting right there on the top. Oh yeah. See, this is why I have this giant collection, is so that I can do things like this for you. We'll swatch it on the other hand because my hand is all stained up. Ooh, you know, I'm not wrong. So this right here is Virtue, and it's much more intense because everybody knows that the Rare Beauty blushes are much more intense. So it's like, you know, if you were to really, really buff that out, look how similar those colors are. and you can't get Virtue anymore, highly recommend Mojave. And like I said, Mojave, this is just a really good bronzer. Again, it's like really desaturated, but I compared it to my other desaturated things and it's a little bit different. It's just a lot more neutral. It doesn't have too much green, too much yellow, too much pink, too much anything. It's just a nice neutral bronzer. It's very, very good. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. So excellent, excellent, excellent. These are like 10s, 10s, 10s across the board. So big fan. Big fan, changed my mind about them. What do you say about this that hasn't already been said? It's really just a misalignment to me of intentions. Is it bad? No. Could someone like my mother find use in it? Yes. Could I see someone swearing by this palette? Sure. If it's the only palette in your collection and you're not comparing it to like 50 other things like me, then I can see it being incredibly useful. Sure. I just think that if you set out to make a capsule neutrals palette, I would have made some decisions differently. First of all, the packaging. I'm not gonna harp on about it any longer. I think the packaging is just, you know, not my taste. But the other thing that kind of grinds my gears is just the choice on this shade right here. Why not something more neutral than that? I can always layer a neutral shimmer on top of any of these colors and have more flexibility in my look, especially when there are so many cool tones and warm tones in this palette, and I think that they did a good job there. Put something more sheer that can add a wet look shine onto any of these rather than this hard and fast warm copper decision, because there are only 8 shades in the palette. We're talking $5 a shadow here. Like this one just confuses me. It's a pretty color, but it doesn't belong here. Those are my thoughts on this. It's not a total dud to me, but at the same time, like, it's not a total dud because it contains pretty good makeup. Like, that's the redeeming value of it, is it's not like a horribly performing product, but the rest of it is pretty, like, I don't get it, you know? Lisa, 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 you wrote us a love letter with these. Everything is just so nice about them. I can't wait to keep using them in my videos because there are so many colors that, like, I want to use as jumping off points for other looks. The green, that like perfect sooty brown, that beautiful gray, that ridiculous Renaissance gold, like everything about the shades and everything about the formula, knocking my socks off, blowing my mind. I'm living. And then you made the outside of the pencil metal. You made the cap metal. You put this beautiful subtle ring of the color right there so that we know what it is while we're storing it. It's immaculate, okay? I've never obsessed about it. Well, yes, I have. Victoria Beckham. I have obsessed about her eyeliners. Some's good, more is better. And these are delicious, okay? They're delicious, start to finish. They're just wonderful. So I might be, well, I would have been biased anyway, but I mean, look, the results speak for themselves. That was like the most unfrustrating eyeliner application I've done in a long time. Y'all know how I am with trying to talk while putting on eye makeup, especially precision things. And like, that was just so easy and it looks fantastic. And that's burnt umber. That's not even like the cool toned brown. I'm in love, in love, in love. Following up here, y'all, it's the end of the day. It's probably been 6 or 7 hours since I filmed putting on the makeup and everything. And I just wanted to show y'all in natural light. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like, all it would take would be like a beauty blender or something to just kind of pat it out. But it's almost like the powder is a little want to kind of like break up and move around on top of this foundation. Yes, Per Monster, you are my first priority. And the other thing was that I had to be a little bit careful with the setting spray because it was so emollient. I feel like it wanted to break down the eyeliner just ever so slightly. So just like be careful with that. It is such like a gel formula that like, yes, we are gonna get a little, you know what I mean? It's a little more sensitive to emollients around it than maybe the Satin Kajal eyeliners are from Victoria Beckham. So if that's something that is a total deal breaker for you, then I would recommend going for the Victoria Beckham ones because they don't smudge or budge or anything. I didn't end up with anything like running. You know, I don't think that was ever an issue, but they aren't completely like, you know, budge proof, like, you know, stuck down on your eyes forever kind of thing. They're not the exact same kind of formula, and you can always set it with a brush, you know, with a powder or something. But I didn't end up with any issues. It was just more like I wanted to report the news as far as like if I were, you know, at the end of my day to take my finger and do that, you do still get some eyeliner. So yeah, that's the full story. But like, I can't complain. For all the emollients and everything that was on underneath that foundation, it performed pretty well, all things considered, you know. Cruel lighting can be cruel lighting, but it still looks really, really nice, and it feels good. It doesn't feel dried out. I would almost rather have something, you know, even though, like, I'm glad that it's not heavy feeling, but it's like I'd rather have to kind of, you know, touch up because the powder is starting to break up than have something be completely dried out, and it's not dried out. So that is also probably partially the setting mist that I use, but I use that all the time. So, I mean, you know, it's kind of apples to apples at that point. But also, the blush stuck around. How do we feel about this? I feel the same. I feel the same about the eyeshadow. So yeah, we didn't get to use the M Cosmetics ones. Those will come at a later date, but they are quite beautiful. And then I believe the only other thing is this, which I have gushed about to no end, but I mean, it just gives me good tingles. It sparks joy, every bit of it. Every single aspect of applying this and using it and interacting with it and owning it and wearing it, I just love it. Okay? I just love it. Prunoir. I believe I've reached a point in my life where I get to enjoy things like Prunoir. And I am. I am thoroughly enjoying, and I feel deserved of that enjoyment, and it's just fine, leather goods, treat yourself. Like, I'm having myself a moment. So anyway, I'm gonna get off camera now because this video tried to go off the rails from the very start. We brought it back on the rails, sort of. Thank you for bearing with me if you're still here. My goodness gracious. Yeah, so that's today's Get Ready With Me. I like the look very, very much. And like I said, we're gonna be doing another Chatty Get Ready With Me coming up really soon because I have a whole haul from Sephora. And then also we have the Bedroom Eyes Brown face swatching video coming up. I'm gonna still do a breakdown of all of my Chanel foundations for y'all. I have an empties coming up because I literally am finishing things left and right now. And also we're getting into the holidays. I mean, it's gonna be the Sephora sale before you know it. Just, you know, subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun over here. I'm just excited about makeup right now. Yeah, if you enjoyed this, give it a like, and cool people subscribe. You should subscribe if you're cool. It'd be cool if you did. I will put a video up here that I think you're going to enjoy. If you liked this one, I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.